Hello, Cancer. I'm not going to get used to that sound. Welcome to your June soul session. I'm Princess India. If you're new and if you're family, welcome back, my friend. And what's not, well, whatever. If you're not familiar with what my soul sessions are, they are your spirituality, okay, as well as personal development readings in which we look at the energies that you guys may encounter for a given month for the sole purpose of giving you clarity, insight, guidance, and advice. Buku cards came out, so let's see what we got. First card, we have the Seven of Coins in the reverse. Then we have the Ace of Swords in the reverse. Okay, then we have the Ten of Swords. And then we have the Hanged Man. Okie dokie. So, Cancer, what is it looking like? Coming out of May into June, with this Seven of Cups in the reverse, Seven of Cups, the Seven of Coins in the reverse, it's more or less, and I have to say it this way, it really looks like you guys gave up on something. I feel it was like, okay, I'll say it this way. It's almost as if you guys were playing the long game, right? Where it's something you had invested in at one point in time. So say hypothetically, if this was a job or if this was like a relationship, it would be the two best examples. So if this was a job and you figured like, I'm a great employee, I've been here for years, you know what I mean? It's like I show up early, I stay late, they're going to, eventually see how, great of an employee I am and give me that promotion. And then someone else gets the promotion, right? Or if like you're in a relationship with someone and the person is less than stellar, so the person needs to change in some way, shape, form, fashion, like some bad behavior that they have. And you were hoping more or less by like holding space for them that eventually the person would see the error of their ways and change. But I feel in the end part of May, you guys kind of gave up on that, and I don't really feel you guys had a backup plan per se, because it kind of feels like being very invested in that outcome. Like, that's why I say playing the long game, because it was this thought of if you took your time and you waited, or if you were consistent and, kept working hard at it, kept being patient, that eventually things would turn in your favor. But after some time passing, they didn't, right? And that's whether it's by you guys' choice or if it was a choice of someone else. So say, you did all of this for a job, and when they decided to do layoffs, you were the first person that they let go. Or, you were waiting for the person you were in the relationship with to change their behavior, and you kept kind of putting up with their crap, being patient for them to change, and they ended up breaking up with you, kind of deal, is the vibe that I'm picking up on with this. So it feels almost like a shock. And with this Ace of Swords in the reverse, is more or less like mental constraint, if you will. It's like, it's not really knowing where to go from there, because I feel the way that stuff panned out, whether it was you guys initiating the ending or someone else initiating it, that really wasn't a part of the plan. So I feel the issue you guys are having coming into the first part of June is coming to a place of accepting that. So I would say it's almost as if you guys are still kind of in shock, if that's making sense. Is being kind of stunned, and like, I guess you could say like cognitive dissonance would be a word you could throw in here, because it's just, this isn't a scenario that you really foresaw, and you really don't know, what to do with that. So you're just kind of like frozen in a sense. But with this Ten of Swords, is more or less speaking to the need to surrender and to release said situation, and more or less come to a place of peace and acceptance that that's a chapter that has ended in you guys' experience. Now, I can't ignore the fact that with this being the end part of May and the beginning part of June, that this may have something to do with the tongue twister, the super full moon eclipse in Sagittarius that occurred on the 26th of May. Whenever eclipses happen, it's a lot of times that, a person, a job, friendship, what have you, can be eclipsed out of your life. However, with us going into Mercury retrograde, there's also the potential that there could be a second chance with this, and this thing may circle back around. But for the time being, with this Hanged Man coming next, which is Aquarius energy, I need to say something with that. When is Aquarius time? Is that February? Like February? So I can see this two ways. Okay, so this is either something that, like what you guys are dealing with, this is either something that began in February. I don't really feel so much that, I mean, it's a possibility. I just don't feel that energy that heavily. Like when I talk about something circling back around, if this were to, it would be like February of 2022. You know what I'm saying? But I feel with this, that this is something that either started to falter like in February of this year, or it's something that was like initiated in February this year, or when you took that stance of, trying to be patient and make the best out of a bad situation. But other than that, what this is really speaking to is you guys, it would behoove you, I'm not going to say what you need to do, but it would behoove you to come to a place of acceptance with this particular cycle ending, and you guys kind of walking away from this. And with this Hanged Man, it's really about a need for you guys to come back to yourself, because I feel it's almost like in this process of like playing the long game. I might name this reading that, but it's like in the process of you guys playing the long game, it's almost like you've come out of alignment with yourself, if that's making sense. It's like you started behaving in a way that really isn't you to compensate for trying to make this thing work, whatever it is. Wow. And then the next card, and that's your energy, we have the Chariot card. So that's the thing, Cancer. I really feel the premise or purpose of this really is you guys coming to a place of acceptance in reference to this situation and moving forward. But why this Hangman time is extremely important is because you guys need to come back to yourself in order to come to a place of resolve and balance within yourself. Because of course, with the Chariot, the only thing that stops the Chariot from moving forward is imbalance. And that seems so far to be the theme for the month, because looking at Gemini's reading that I did right before you guys, that was pretty much the roundabout of their reading as well, was them needing to come back to themselves, right? So if you guys are Gemini Cancer cuspers, I would say go watch Gemini too, but their whole thing on the YouTube side, it got deeper on the extended side. But on the YouTube side of it, it was pretty much that in May, Gemini had initiated a shift in their life by them making a decision and not waiting for anyone to rescue them, and them making a decision to go into a particular direction. And then everything like unfolded for them, like everything went in their favor, right? And this month, it speaks to, things have shifted, right? But now it's like Spirit is putting the spotlight on, you went from the within to the without, and now it's about going from the without to the within, if that's making sense. So it's like that same, we could say bravado that led them to, say, I'm not going to wait for anyone to save me, I'm going to save myself, is now the same thing that's being highlighted, because there's deeper implications to that. So I'm seeing a similar thing with you guys. It's more or less, I feel, Cancer, and this is a Cancerian thing. I know and love a lot of Cancers, but I it's almost like holding a grudge, which is kind of a Taurian thing. But if you have that in your chart, then, check that one out too. But anyway, but it's almost like holding a grudge. And this is the same thing that came up for Gemini too. It's like holding a grudge, or like if you get into, Cancerian shadow aspects, it's like wanting to get back at someone who hurt you, like wanting them to hurt the way that you hurt, you know what I'm saying, type of deal, or wanting them to see the pain that they caused, or the error of their ways, or what have you. But even though that's understandable and one would feel justified, right, and feeling that way, even if it's not like, Scorpio, where it's like full on desire for like revenge type of thing, it's just the fact that you're holding that energy signature within you. And with that energy signature, it has its own vibe and it throws off your vibe. So it's more or less needing to come to a place of like, that's the word, closure, because one of the biggest misconceptions about closure, and this still goes back to the reading, because I was talking about this with Gemini. This goes back to the reading that I did for my Couture Soul Collective in Lunafet that I did for the full moon. I did like a whole soapbox thing, like TED Talk, before we started the full moon ceremony. We do those every month on my network. But it's like that little snippet in the beginning. And I might share that. I'm gonna ask my network. I gotta ask them, because they be feeling away when I be sharing stuff outside the network. I'm gonna ask them. I'm gonna put up a poll and I'm gonna say, is it okay if I share the first part of, and look, y'all already watching this, okay? So you can just comment below. But to let me know if y'all okay with that. But anyway, because they see these first. But it's the snippet that I put there. And then even thinking about with my Couture Soul Collective over there, I do weekly readings for them. And in the last week of May, in their reading, I talked about how that whole week, well, like the week of the eclipse, how that whole week was about something that's holding people in the past. And it could be something as simple as like these thoughts of, did they ever really love me? Did they ever really care? Or was I just nothing to them? You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of mindset. And that literally keeps you trapped in the past, because, dude, I would literally have to draw this out of how this energy signature looks to me of when people do that. And I talked about this before in a reading last month where I mentioned like twin flames and stuff. It's like, if you have a twin flame and you're like in separation with them and you're like, oh, I'm moving on with my life. And it's like, you're really not, because you're holding space for this person. So if we put it, like I said, in the Lunafet thing, if you likened it to shapes, it's like, in order to move forward into the door of your future, you need to be shaped like a rectangle, right? Because that means that both feet are planted firmly in the present moment, right? But whenever there's a person, like whether you're in a twin flame union, the person is gone, y'all in separation, and you say that you're moving forward, you have 1 foot forward, 1 foot back, what makes you a triangle, right? So in order to really, truly move forward, you need to be a rectangle, but you're a triangle because even though you are attempting to move forward, you have one leg behind you because you're still holding space. Because if the person came back tomorrow and you completely altered your life without considering this person in it, you know what I'm saying? Then there'd be no place for them in your life. So you're still kind of holding yourself back. Or if, you're still wondering, did this person ever care? Did this person ever really love me? That's still a foot in the past. That's making you a triangle. That's preventing you from moving forward to your future because you're not fully planted in the present. So it's a need for closure. And this whole week, not this week, but the week of the eclipse was all about people coming to a place of closure. So it's because in truth, the biggest misconception, that's what I was saying, the biggest misconception about closure is people think another person gives it to you, but it's a double-edged sword. Because if, a person that you wonder if they ever loved you, right? Did they ever really love me? And you ask the person, hey, did you ever really love me? And they're like, yes, of course I did. You know, it's just circumstances didn't work out, right? But then that question is followed up with another question of, well, if you really did love me, then why did you treat me that way? Right? And what I know about working with adults every day of my life, when you spring a question like that on an adult, people usually don't have an answer for it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, I don't know. It just happened. I wasn't thinking straight. You know, I was drunk. Like, I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Because not everyone really always thinks that deeply into stuff. It's like, or conscious or self-aware of their pathologies, patterns, behaviors, and things of the sort. You know what I'm saying? So I say all of that to say that whenever you're stuck in a situation like that, you're stuck in your past and you're not equipped to move forward into your future. Now, where this comes into you guys reading is this whole first row of cards, which is speaking to, well, really going into the mid part of June. This is something you guys are grappling with. And the task this month is to come back to your center because you've deviated from yourself and your truth, trying to compensate for this situation. Now, the next card that we have, which I just explained without even looking at it, is the Two of Cups in the reverse. And what's interesting, I'll have to I'll have to speak on that later. This is actually a card I am studying a great deal because I got some insights into this card a few weeks ago that completely blew my mind and completely changed my perspective of how we see and how we interpret the Two of Cups. You know what I'm saying? But so when I get my period at the end of my sentence and I'm not still at a semicolon, then I'll let you guys know. But other than that, this is more or less talking about a disunion. You know what I mean? It's not being on one accord with oneself. And that's really what the task is going to be the first half of June. And something I have to throw out there, I found this on accident. A video that I made last year at this time. And I said I was going to re-record it and I was going to put it out again because I happened on it accidentally. I was looking for something else entirely. And I was like, what is this? And I was like, oh my God, I did a video like that. That's insane. But anyway, but a lot of the stuff I said in there was really on point because June is a hella important month every year, because it's the midpoint of the year. And, you know, to know me is to know how big I am on self-reflection. So this is like the time of the year, especially with us being in the retrograde, to be taking time and looking at what have you done with the first 6 months of the year. You know what I'm saying? People then got the V word that I can't say on YouTube, but, you know, y'all know what it is. It's, you know, the pokey thing, you know what I'm saying? And, you know, a lot of people, which is totally giving me anxiety, are going without their masks. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. It just totally creeps me out. It's like the order got raised in New Orleans and within 12 hours, ladies and gentlemen, it's like everybody was just naked out here. And, you know, I kind of like masks for another reason. I don't have to do my face and stuff. So it's always nice. But anyway, but, you know, things are starting to come back to normal. People are starting to go back, you know, to life, right? As we know it. So with that happening, and I feel like I've said this before, but with all of that happening, it's very easy to kind of get off track from a lot of the work that many of us were forced to do during the whole lockdown type of deal. So with this being the midpoint of the year, this is a great time to really look back at, you know, May all the way to January, look at your life, you know, from June of this year to June of last year, and really look at what has shifted and changed for you. What goals have you achieved? How close are you to those goals? And what you plan on doing for the remainder of 2021 to set yourself up for 2022 and what it is that you want to accomplish, right? Because I just feel with this Cancer, it's like you guys have kind of come out of alignment with yourself, to be quite honest, you know? Oh, look at that. I don't know what it is with y'all and Gemini, man. Y'all have the Four of Wands at the bottom of your deck. Gemini had Four of Wands. at the bottom of their deck. I forgot to turn it over on YouTube. I turned it over in the extended. But you guys have the 4 of Wands at the bottom of your deck. So the whole premise, like I was saying, of this is for you guys to come to a place of stability and security and harmony within yourself. So it's almost like detoxing from whatever this is that you guys went through and giving yourself the gift of closure, if that's making sense. You know what I'm saying? But anywho, that has been your reading, Cancer. I'm going over to my network to do you guys extended. So if you're about that life, go ahead and follow me over there, my friend. If not, it's okay. I still love your freaking face. And I will see you guys sooner than later, my friend.